to everyone. We're so happy you guys are joining us for our first EnergyBin Insights. Welcome. We'll give everybody maybe like a minute here to get started, to get logged in. How's everyone doing? Having a good day? We are based in Minnesota and it's pretty warm here, which is nice for us. It's great to be in the summer. Okay, well, I think we will get started here. We've got people still coming in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, but we will get started so that we can respect everyone's time. All right, so good afternoon. Welcome, everyone, to our very first EnergyBin Insights titled The Secondary Solar Market, 5 Myths Debunked. We're so glad that you're joining us today. My name is Renee Keel. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing. I've been with the company for nearly 15 years. Also joining us today is Melissa Schmidt. She's our Marketing Communications Manager who has been with us for over 3 years now, and she's played an integral part in getting EnergyBin to where we are today. We're so lucky to have her on our team. So before we dive in, real quick, please note you can pose any questions as we go. We'll have time at the end to answer those. Also, we'll be sure to make a recording of today's webinar available. So we're recording now and we'll make that available to everyone. Okay, so let's get started. A bit of background for anyone new to EnergyBin. Our parent company, the Broker Exchange Network, has 20 years of experience in the secondary market. Our sister site, brokerbin.com, is truly the world leader in the secondary market for the B2B technology industry. So we launched EnergyBin just about 5 years ago now at Solar Power International after being awarded the Sunshot Initiative grant with the plan to bring together PV professionals who provide solutions for repair, resale, and recycling while producing resources within 3 major areas: trade, networking, and education. And really, we're doing just that. EnergyBin is fully committed to accelerating a robust and sustainable secondary market. So welcome to Melissa, who is going to help us debunk the 5 most common myths about the solar secondary market. Take it away, Melissa.
Thanks, Renee. It's fun to be here with you today and present in this manner. And thanks to all of our participants for joining us for the very first EnergyBin Insights. We're so glad you're here.
Yes.
You may be asking, what exactly is the secondary market? In a nutshell, it's a market that brings together buyers and sellers to trade goods that have previously been introduced in the primary market. Service providers add value via services that complement these goods, such as PV repair and testing, third-party warranties, recycling, and so on. The secondary market concept is not new. Think of other industries that have mature secondary markets, such as automobiles and IT hardware, as Renee had mentioned. Essentially, the secondary market extends a product's life cycle. If you ever wonder what happens to those used iPhones and Androids when people upgrade their smartphones, they are resold to buyers who are perfectly okay with a less than new, lower cost option. Apparently, not everyone uses their devices to end of life like me. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I'm still using the Samsung Galaxy S6. And I realized the other day that this phone is now up to S21. Most people upgrade their technology more often than that. But
Yeah.
Don't assume that used or secondhand technology means old or outdated. On EnergyBin, we've seen used modules for resale as young as 2 to 5 years. There are a number of reasons why these goods are prematurely deinstalled, which we'll talk about in a bit. Buyers can find more than used goods for resale. As Renee will explain, there are both new and used goods in the secondary market. In fact, of the millions of parts traded on EnergyBin, over 90% is new with warranty. The secondary market is not the gray market. It is not the black market. What we're talking about today is independent of these markets. We are drawing upon examples of EnergyBin members who are fully vetted solar companies. Many are also primary market players whose names you would recognize as reputable companies in the industry. They have seen the benefits of the secondary market has to offer and have evolved their business models to reap these benefits. We hope you can walk away from this presentation with a new perspective to do the same for your business. In the case of solar, the secondary market is a critical component to ensure a sustainable circular economy that leaves zero waste.
Yes, thank you so much for that explanation, Melissa. And just to kind of continue on before we get into the myths, when we talk about trade in the solar secondary market, we're really referring to all product that is no longer within the traditional supply chain, really for a whole host of reasons, as well as the complementary services. So there are a variety of situations that product lands outside the typical direct supply chain, including, obviously not limited to, but including surplus, clearance, or B grade from manufacturers, excess and leftover parts from projects that installers now are left holding on to, canceled, delayed, or downsized projects that equipment was already purchased for, product liquidations and auctions. And again, much of this product is still new. Plus refurbished goods and recycled materials that are also available for resale. So we have heard, as Melissa said, on EnergyBin through our members, countless stories of functioning and even brand new product piling up in warehouses under a slew of different circumstances. That product, which in almost all cases still has significant life left and can be traded within the solar secondary market. This is one of many examples. So the illustration on this screen is showing you what a robust secondary market includes, which is any and all of the players within the industry who deal with equipment. So we've got resellers, suppliers, refurbishment companies and testing firms, recycling firms, solar companies and equipment brokers, supporting organizations like insurance, finance, logistics, third-party warranty firms, etc. Having a network of secondary market players across all disciplines will surely create countless opportunities for your solar business. So, okay, let's jump in. Melissa, what are the 5 most common solar secondary market myths?
Yes, we've kept our audience in suspension. So here we go. Now that we have a high level overview of what the secondary market is, let's get into these 5 myths that sadly we often hear solar professionals make. Number 1, PV equipment for resale is junk. Forget about finding high efficiency and high quality. Number 2, used solar equipment is unsafe. And why would anyone want to buy used when they can buy new? Number 3, insurance won't cover repaired equipment or refurbished replacements. Number 4, recycling is too expensive, so let's just dump those decommissioned modules in landfills, right? And number 5, there's no money to be made in the secondary market, so why should I care? Ooh, these are cringeworthy, aren't they, Renee?
Yes, they certainly are. They certainly make us cringe. That is true. So let's start debunking, shall we?
Sounds good.
Okay, myth number 1, PV equipment for resale is junk. Well, let's just think about that for a second. Remember what we just explained as the solar secondary market and where the product comes from? So if you think about that, then of course it's not junk because much of it is still new. Think about how any secondary market works. There are umpteen reasons equipment may be available for resale. The truth is, it is quality equipment with resale value. In many cases, we see tier 1 product with warranty. We also see mainstream modules anywhere from 275 to 325 watts in high demand, which is great. I mean, that's awesome, right? Because it helps make solar more affordable to the masses. Lower efficiency costs less, therefore more people can access solar energy. Perfect. So really, the secondary market model falls very much in line with creating a long-term, sustainable, eco-friendly option for solar. In fact, I would argue a robust secondary market, which absolutely includes quality product, is the only way to further the mission of making solar available to all. Okay, Myth number 2, used solar equipment is unsafe. Why buy used when I can buy new? Okay, well, the truth here is that using a credible reseller means the product has been tested for safety and power output. As for why buy used, well, why buy used in any area of our lives, right? The solar secondary market today has used functioning modules available with resale value, and the price can be anywhere from 50 to 75% less than new. Whoa, like that's a significant savings. Resellers also offer money back guarantees. And there are companies like Renovacel who opened a factory in Spain. Then they buy used modules, make the repairs, add certification and 5-year warranty, and then put the modules back on the market. And that is a perfect example of the solar secondary market with safe, tested, and less expensive equipment. Lade Saroy from R3 Tech Limited and a member of EnergyBin has broadened his business to include turnkey solutions as well as giving used panels second life. He views his company as playing a key role in the circular economy by providing testing, repair, and then resale opportunities. And Jay Granite from Jay's Energy Equipment, who is also an EnergyBin member, says, if it's a working panel, there's always a buyer. And we love this quote. I have half of mine to make it our tagline, actually. So thanks for that, Jay. I'm just going to repeat that. If it's a working panel, there's always a buyer. Okay, Melissa, bust myths 3 and 4 for us.
All right. This next myth about insurance coverage really perplexes me because it dismisses repair or refurbished parts as viable options. To debunk this myth, understand what happens when an insurance claim is filed. Just like in other industries, think automobiles, insurance companies seek to identify all of their options to reveal their most lucrative solution. If you get into a car accident and you file a claim for the damage, the insurance company has you take the car down to an auto repair shop to assess the damage. If the damage is non-repairable, the car is totaled and is scrapped for parts that are still functioning, which are resold. But if the car is repairable, then estimators work to search the secondary market for replacement parts. If they find parts that fully satisfy the safety and performance of your vehicle in the secondary market, they'll most likely require these parts be ordered rather than sourcing primary market parts. The reason being is that often parts for resale, which are both new and used, range anywhere from 20 to 70% less than primary market prices. The same is true in the solar industry. Insurance companies work closely with testing firms to assess the damage, usually right on site at your solar array. Testing firms determine if the damage is repairable or if the damage should be replaced. And then insurance companies look at all of their options and weigh their costs to determine what they will cover. And if your insurance company says they won't cover refurbished or replacement parts, tell them to check on EnergyBin. That's just my little advertisement right there, because like we said, we have reputable companies who have high quality products, many of which are new parts, but at much less prices than primary market prices. In addition, many reputable refurbishment firms include service warranties to guarantee their workmanship, like we saw in the Renovacel example that Renee gave. And some offer money back guarantees to assure safety and performance output of their goods. Obviously, these companies have a vested interest to stand behind their products. If they were selling junk or unsafe equipment, then their credibility would suffer and they'd go out of business. We're also seeing some notable innovations in the areas of repair and refurbishment. For example, DuPont just released a Tedlar-based repair tape for cracked back sheets. This repair tape comes at a fraction of the cost to replace a panel. As the secondary market evolves, we'll see more and more innovations like this solution come into play. Our fourth myth to debunk has to do with recycling. Any module that has shattered glass or is at end of life should be recycled, not dumped in landfills. Now, as the myth implies, recycling can be construed as expensive, and actually there is some truth to that. I'll leave it to the recycling experts to explain the complications. But for today, I will quote the National Renewable Energy Laboratory to say that current technology, infrastructure, and processes are not optimized for cost-effective recovery of high-value materials. And that's why cheaper disposal options are viewed more attractive today. But resorting to disposal instead of recycling is contrary to developing a sustainable circular economy. I don't think it is the intention of the solar industry to boast a clean energy solution on one hand while creating an e-waste nightmare on the other. That's just not why many of us got into the industry to begin with. We truly want to make a positive impact on the environment. In time, I believe the recycling challenges of today will pave the way for economic opportunities. We're already seeing industry innovators leading the way. For example, in Europe, PV Cycle was very instrumental in helping the European Union craft legislation that now exists to require solar panel producers to finance the collection and recycling of their products. Although the United States does not currently have federal law mandating recycling, a number of industry leaders are taking a proactive approach to build the infrastructure needed to support recycling, namely SEIA's National PV Recycling Program. Presently, less than 1% of PV units throughout the US need to be disposed of annually, according to SEIA. And the International Renewable Energy Agency expects global volume to increase to 78 million tons by 2050. The more the volume, the less it will cost to recycle, and hopefully there will be some sort of supportive legislation and incentives to keep modules out of landfills. For today, you may be able to save on one cost to recycle, which is the freight to move the material to a recycling firm. Consider working with a freight broker to find the best shipping options. One of our EnergyBin member companies specializes in solar logistics. Their name is Connect Solar, and I highly recommend you reach out to them if you're moving any kind of PV material. In addition, if you are decommissioning a solar farm and any part is salvageable, know that there are companies who will pay you for those salvageable goods. I recently interviewed FabTech Enterprises, an EnergyBin member and a refurbishing and recycling company, that noted that 65% of the annual volume they decommission has resale value. FabTech buys these goods and has paid several customers $40,000 to $100,000 or more. This money earned can be used to offset the cost to recycle. Recycled PV material is used for a number of purposes. Some of the glass is used for new solar modules, but most of the material is going for uses in other industries, such as fiberglass. I also recently read about a new discovery in Australia that found that the simple and economic recovery of nanostructured silicon has value-added applications in lithium-ion batteries. Surely more innovations for repurposing will come about as we move forward. NREL expects the US to be one of the world's top benefactors as more solar material reaches end of life. Anticipated PV waste in 2030 would generate $60 million in profits of raw material recovery. And by 2050, US operators in the market could profit $2 billion.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, wow. Thank you so much for all of that information. Okay, and we are on to our final myth, myth number 5. There's no money to be made in the secondary market. Okay, you know what? As my grandma would say, that's just poppycock. The truth is, solar companies are making and saving money in the secondary market today. Examples from our members of EnergyBin include a reseller who made 20,000 in one transaction, a distributor who made 65,000 in 1 month, an installer who saved 7,000 on one purchase. These are, and there are, incredible opportunities. In addition, using the market intelligence for pricing comparisons and resources available within a robust secondary market network, companies are able to determine product availability outside the direct supply chain. What a win that is, right? Especially with product availability being such a challenge today. So certainly that is a money saver, if not a money maker. Plus, adding this sector to your business will create jobs. We've seen it for years and years on BrokerBin. Clients realizing how much opportunity there truly is within the secondary market and deciding it is more than worth it to add human resources to manage. Involvement in the secondary market is going to lead to zero waste via repair, resale, and recycling, and we are here for it. I just want to leave you with, on this final myth, comments from the Harvard Business Review. So Harvard Business Review comments that as businesses began offering solutions instead of products, it became evident that selling spare parts and after-sales services like conducting repairs, installing upgrades, reconditioning equipment, carrying out inspections and day-to-day maintenance, offering technical support, consulting and training, and arranging finances could be a bountiful source of revenues and profits as well. In industries such as automobiles, white goods, industrial machinery, and information technology, companies have sold so many units over the years that their aftermarkets have become 4 to 5 times larger than the original equipment businesses. It is estimated that American businesses and consumers spend approximately $1 trillion every year on assets they already own. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, well, there you have it. We have successfully debunked the top 5 solar secondary market myths. Thank you, Melissa. So we are going to check for questions here. Did you check for questions, Melissa?
Oh, I was on mute. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I don't, yeah, if anyone has questions, feel free to write them in. Also, obviously, you see our contact information here. We are working very hard on putting out content to educate the industry on these issues and the economic opportunities that the secondary market has available to all of you. Also, if you are listening in and you are an EnergyBin member, heads up, our first EnergyBin Power Hour, which is a networking event for members only, is coming up on July 8th, and it will be at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Check your newsletter for details. Anything else you want to add, Renee? It looks like we might have gotten a question.
Wait.
The question is, are you primarily working with residential solar, or are you also active in the utilities space? I would say we have members across the entire solar supply chain, from manufacturers on down to from large scale contractors working on C&I and utility scale, on down to the residential installers. For an exchange, I mean, just think about like a stock exchange. If you've ever been on fidelity.com, is a really good like comparison of how EnergyBin's exchange works. You may be using it for a different purpose versus when you are when you're a utility scale member versus when you're a residential solar installer. So from viewing product availability to comparing prices to actually requesting want-to-buys or reselling your excess from your bulk jobs, it really varies on a case-by-case basis for how each member finds value using an exchange like EnergyBin.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Okay.
Okay, and then there's one other question.
Oh.
The question says, I'm curious if you're aware of any standards or certifications for EV batteries to be used in stationary solar applications. I'm not aware I would think UL would be the best place to search, and that might be a great topic for us to explore for future EnergyBin insights. So thanks for putting that in. If anyone else knows, feel free to just enter something into the chat so we can share it. And then another question just came in. Will the recording and slides be available for us to share with other colleagues? Yes, indeed. Our video producer, who is our editor, is actually on vacation. So we'll get to that early next week and send you all an email as soon as the recording is processed. And yes, feel free to share it with anyone in your organizations or in the industry. That's our goal, is to help really bring every PV professional together to build a sustainable secondary market that is robust. And we need your help. We can't do it alone. So
No, we cannot.
one last slide we'll just show is the references, because I'm a bit of a research nerd. So
she truly is.
if we commented on anything during the presentation, this is where you would find the resource for that. And again, the slides will be available for download on our website by the end of next week. And feel free to email me directly if you need some more information on any topic, or if you have another suggestion for an EnergyBin Insights. We're inviting industry experts to join us. So if you'd like to be a co-presenter with us, then email me. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. I was just saying you're welcome to the person who thanked us for the resources slide. So good job in putting that together, Melissa. It was appreciated. Okay. So we've so enjoyed connecting with all of you today. As Melissa said, thanks for taking time out of your busy day. Take a minute to follow us on socials, check out energybin.com, reach out to either Melissa or I directly, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon.